Now, European football is back, and that can only mean one thing. UCL Fantasy returns for another season, and in today's video, I'm going to give you an how-to guide, the best way to play, and of course, give you my tips and strategies to get the best start this season. Now, before we dive into today's video, if you do want to see more UCL fantasy content on the channel, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and of course, getting your comments in down in the comment section as well. We're also trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year, and it is only possible with your guys' help. So if you do enjoy any of the content, whether that be FPL, EFL, or UCL content, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. Right, first off, let's start off with the very basics. Picking the squad. You'll need to pick 15 players, 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 3 forwards. Very simple premise, very similar to FPL. You'll get 100 million to spend, and beyond the round of 16, you'll have 105 million budget. That again, obviously if you played Euro Fantasies, makes complete sense, because obviously as you get to the latter stages of the tournament, you're going to have the more, I would say, prolific and big teams with obviously the more expensive players later on in the competition. So you are going to need that increased budget to help you obviously go and buy these big, Erling Haalands, Mbappe's, all these world-class players. You're going to need them later on. Obviously, as well, we are going to need that elevated budget. So that makes complete sense. And as you can see down the bottom as well, there is a little table with the amount of players you are allowed from each club. As obviously you do progress further and further through the competition, more and more teams are going to drop out of the competition. So you're going to need more players from certain teams. And as you can see, 3 across the group stage, 4 in the kind of knockout playoffs and round of 16, 5 in the quarterfinals, 6 in the semis, and then 8 from one side in the final. Now, we will kind of do a more kind of playful kind of, if you like, kind of working through a squad, like how you would set it up for each match day a little bit later on in the video. Also discussing, how you will set that squad up with captaincy and substitutions as well. But let's go and dive into some transfers and chips available in this game. Starting off with transfers. Obviously, in every fantasy game, you do get transfers. However, rules do differ, and that is the same again with UCL Fantasy. So throughout the competition, you get free transfers each match day, or each week, if you like, to be honest. So we will obviously, again, have a table outlining how many you get per round, as that does increase the further you get throughout the competition. That will be in the next slide we take a look at. Again, like it said there, the number of free transfers you get makes depending on the round kind of we're in for that competition. For every transfer you make beyond the quota of transfers you've got, you will be deducted 4 points as well. So that works the exact same as FPL. Obviously, if you've only got 2 allocated transfers and then you make a third, that third one will cost you -4. Very same principles in UCL Fantasy as well, so just be wary of that if you do need to make more than the quota you have been outlined for that game week as well. And during the league phase, you will only be able to carry 1 forward to the next match day, meaning that you can't stockpile free transfers over several rounds. So unlike FPL, where of course this season you can obviously carry up to 5 transfers, that is not the case in UCL Fantasy. Only across the match days, only across the group stage can you carry 1 transfer into each week, so giving you a maximum of 3 transfers for 1 game week. After that, you'll be back to the 2 that you were originally allocated for each match day in the group stage. If that doesn't make sense, let me know down in the comments section, but I feel it's a fairly easy premise. -4 for any that you kind of, going over your quota. And you can only carry 1 transfer across from each of the group stages match days, not in the knockout rounds, as you do get allocated transfers per match day as we progress throughout the tournament. So let's go and take a look at that. As you can see, again, we're using this table. This is available on their website as well if you want to go and do some further digging and reading for yourself. So obviously, as you can see, before the league phase, we do get unlimited transfers because, we're basically wildcarding our drafts, if you like. We're building our teams that we want to start. Then during the league phase, like we've said, you do get 2 per match day with the ability to carry 1 through to the next match day. Before the knockout round playoffs, you also get unlimited transfers. Again, those will be only selective teams. Again, if you've not obviously caught up with the rule changes for UCL this season, go and check that out. There's plenty more videos that could do it in a lot better kind of manner than myself. But again, there will be a kind of a round of 32, if you like, for this competition, where there will be certain teams that will play to qualify 5 for the round of 16. Again, you'll have unlimited transfers going into that, but then for the second leg, you do get 2 transfers. And then before the round of 16, again, you will get unlimited transfers, mainly down to the fact that, you know, you're going to need to have a completely different squad from the ones that were in the group stages and, of course, in the knockout rounds. And then as we can see, as we do progress, before the second leg of the round of 16, free, 5 in the quarters, free in the second leg, 5 before the semis, free before the second leg, and then 5 transfers before the final. If you want to take a screenshot of that yourself as well, it might help you with your further planning. But as you can see, there are some points here where you will be able to kind of just reset your squad. So obviously, if it doesn't go too well for you over the course of the group stages, you will have that ability to kind of reset your squad and basically, in essence, get yourself a wild card before the knockout stages of this tournament. Moving on to chips, and again, if you are coming from an FPL perspective, there is a big change here. Obviously, if you played the Euro Fantasy game over the summer, you will be familiar with the 2 chips that are available in UCL Fantasy. It is, of course, the wildcard, and it is, of course, the limitless. Let's start off with, I feel, one that a lot of people will be familiar with. It's in pretty much every game or every sort of fantasy game I can think of. It is, of course, the wildcard, and as you can see, I put there, the wildcard works the exact same as in FPL. Playing it allows you to make free unlimited transfers, and any players you do transfer in will stay in your squad for the following game weeks and beyond until you obviously transfer them out or you get to that point where we get unlimited transfers again. This can only be played once a season and can't be played in match day 1 because obviously that's the first game week. We've already got unlimited transfers going into that one. Match day 9, which was the first knockout round, and if you remember correctly, we already have unlimited transfers for that one as well. Same goes for match day 11, which would be the first round of the first game, of the round of 16. Again, everybody in those 2 rounds, so 9, 11 and 1, already has unlimited transfers, so the wildcard is just pointless and isn't needed, so you don't obviously have to go and play it, so it's completely fine. You don't need it for those weeks. Again, though, it works the exact same as FPL, so I imagine with you watching this channel, you are familiar with how wildcards work. You are familiar with what one is and how it works for FPL, so I don't feel I have to go into too much detail with this one. However, if you are new to obviously UEFA's kind of games, Limitless might be a little bit more of a shock for you. Basically, Limitless gives you the chance to pick your dream squad for 1 match day only. Playing it allows you to make unlimited free transfers that match day with 0 budget restrictions. So basically works like a free hit. Just for that 1 match day, you can bring in whoever you want. Now, with a free hit in FPL, of course, there are still the budget restrictions. However, with that Limitless chip, you have no budget restrictions. You can bring in as many players as you want, and it doesn't matter how much that team costs, because when this chip is active, you can, of course, go and play it. Again, this chip can't be played in match day 1, 9 or 11 because obviously we've got unlimited transfers going into those rounds, so it doesn't work. And again, very similar to how a free hit works, once that game week has finished, your squad returns to how it was the prior game week. So again, very, very similar to how free hits work in FPL. And to give you a little bit of help here, I would highly recommend playing the Limitless chip in the group stages of this tournament. That is where I feel you're going to get the best use out of this chip. If you played Euro Fantasy over the summer, I played it in the group stages, got massive score in I think match day 2 or match day 3 whenever I played this chip. And basically why I'm recommending that is because you're going to get teams like Manchester City, like of course your Liverpools, your Real Madrids, your Bayern Munichs, your Barcelonas. All these teams will be playing lesser opponents. Obviously, you want to cram as many of the top talents in when they're playing against these teams where they could go and put 4, 5, 6 goals in. Because as you get to the latter stages of these knockout tournaments, less goals go in. You know, there's a lot more cagey affairs between games as well. So I think the best time, and I think a lot of people will agree with me who have played this game before, the best time to go and play the Limitless chip will be in the group stage. Outline a game week where there are obviously a lot of big teams against lesser opponents. Cram your team full of obviously the most premium assets because you've got that unlimited budget, and I think it will work wonders for you. Obviously, we will have a chip strategy video out, and of course, if we do continue to make content, if this video does extremely well throughout the course of this season. So I will have you covered with wildcard drafts and Limitless drafts, and of course my team selections. Now, like at the start of the video, I did say I would run you through how your team will be looking. So obviously, once you've drafted all your players in, you've got your 15 players, you've hit your budget, all that good stuff, then of course you will be greeted to a screen like this, where you will kind of outline the players you want to be starting and benching. Now, it does work very, very different to FPL. Now, in FPL, your bench is basically only there if somebody doesn't play and those players come in. That is not the case with UCL Fantasy. How the bench works, I would say, is a little bit more active, and we definitely need bench cover during this game, because what it allows you to do, first of all, is manually substitute players in and out. So what you want to do is basically, when a game week arrives, what you want to do is have all the players that play first in the match day squad. So if they do well, you can keep them in. For example, if Modric and Musiala do well, they play on the 17th. Great stuff. However, if they don't do well, what I could then do is replace them for Sudikov, or I could put Ruben Diaz in the squad, bench those two players, and then again basically have another attempt at it if you like. So I hope that's very kind of clear and obvious how that one works. What you want to do when you're lining your squad up is have the players play first that obviously play on the 17th, or in this case the 18th, whatever. So have them play first. Then if they don't do well, you can obviously go and manually substitution once all the games have finished on the 17th. Now, what you can't do is, say, for example, I bench Modric. Let's say he got an assist. I benched him for Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz fails to, not deliver, only gets me 1 point. I can then not subsequently put Modric back into the squad. Once he's on the bench and already played, that is it. That's final. I can't go and bring him in. The same works with captaincy as well. What you want to be doing is captaining players that play on the first kind of day, then the second day, and now with games on Thursdays as well in the Champions League, you want to be obviously having pretty much a player that you could theoretically captain every single week, because captaincy is one of those things that just works amazingly in FPL. Now, captaincy works the exact same as FPL. They get double points. Simple as that. Very, very simple concept. Now, of course, with this, as you can see, we've got Morata playing on the 17th, so he's going to be our captain there. Obviously, if he fails to disappoints, maybe he only gets 1 goal, or, doesn't, do what we're expecting of him, we could very easily make that switch after all the games are finished on the 17th to Erling Haaland. So very, very simple. And again, if Erling Haaland blanks, well, it's fine, because we've got a player playing on the 19th as well. So we could have that one final roll of the dice, basically giving us 3 captaincies throughout the week. Now, obviously, this game is a little bit more active. You don't just set your team and kind of forget for the week. You do need to be a little bit more active, taking a look after each match day, seeing what players you've got on the bench to obviously drop into that side, or as well, looking how your captain's done, and of course, rotating round as well. In terms of point scoring as well, there are a few anomalies here. Again, a lot of the same principles work with FPL, where, players pick up points for doing the basic actions, scoring goals, keeping clean sheets, of course, getting assists, stuff like that. Very, very much the similar. Same with goalkeepers, just picking up saves. However, there are a few anomalies, as you can see on screen right now. Ball recoveries, obviously, if you played Euro Fantasy over the summer, it was one of my favorite metrics. I absolutely loved it. I wish they'd added it to FPL this season. They didn't. I feel it would have made defenders a little bit more appealing. However, that is a metric. Per 3 ball recoveries, you do go and pick up a point. And rather than picking up an assist for winning a penalty, the player just picks up 2 points for going and winning that penalty. So very, very simple in that regard as well. So it doesn't matter if the penalty's missed as well. They still manage to get the points for just winning the penalty. I think that's a great addition. And again, maybe something that should be looked to added to FPL. I hope everything made sense. Obviously, if you do have any further questions, get them down in the comment section, as I will try to help you guys out ahead of the new fantasy season for Champions League. Again, like I said, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you are liking, subscribing, and commenting, as we will obviously make plenty more content coming up as well. Also, if you want to go and join my mini league, I will flash that on screen right now for you to go and join, and it is right above my head as well, the code, if you want to go and join for yourself. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in match day 1.